Hey, what is up everybody, Blades for here, and today for you guys another video of Persona 5X. Inside today's video guys, we're going to be going over how to use your stamina effectively or efficiently here for a lot of my new players out there, or even just global players who are waiting for the game. If you guys are interested in stuff like this, be sure to sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. And as always, hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. It really does help out the channel a lot, help us get into the YouTube algorithm, and I appreciate it 100 times fold. So thank you once again. And if you want to, of course, be involved in our actual Discord community, check at least the description down below. Should be at least a little link called Gotcha Metaverse. Be sure to jump into that, and I'll keep you guys informed on anything P5X related, whether it's global, TW, or any other versions. Let's get into the video. So, as many of you guys know, of course, all Gotcha games at this point in time have usually a stamina system, and P5X is really no difference here. It does have, of course, a stamina system. And the stamina can be a little bit resourceful to kind of manage. So we want to make sure we're utilizing this effectively and making sure everything is being used in a proper way to actually at least keep our accounts kind of moving here. So I'm going to be explaining that today here, in which we're going to go ahead and take a look at the Metaverse little, I guess you could say, compass or app here. Taking out at least the app immediately and going into the Metaverse section here, we have 240 at least stamina every day, in which there also are other ways of having stamina, which are from at least the coffee little bottle here, as well as the coffee candy. You also can actually upgrade your stamina, or not upgrade it, but purchase more stamina with in-game currency, being the diamonds on the right there, though I would not always suggest it. So as a new player, what exactly do you do with your stamina? How do you really utilize it? Well, one of the things I have to cover is whenever, as a new player or anyone who's starting, usually every level up, I think goes to all the way like 45, but for those level ups you end up getting the actual coffee bottle. Each one of those level ups will usually give you a coffee bottle or two. One of the things that you have to kind of take into account is those are actually very needed to save. You don't really want to actually utilize them so early. The main reason for this is because there's not really a need to utilize them so early, because a lot of stuff early on, even in the second palace, you don't really have to grind a lot for. You can kind of grind all inside of at least Metaverse, or not Metaverse here, Mementos, and inside the palaces themselves, and that will be good enough, whether it's for artifact cards or whether it's just in general needing materials to get up certain characters. You really don't have to hardcore use those bottles. Those bottles themselves, when you do have them from leveling up, you actually want to go ahead and save them, and I would advise saving them to 60, because then that would be the proper moment to where we want to actually grind for artifacts, which I'll get into with the stamina management system. But one thing, rule number one, especially when it comes down to making your account, is try not to at least use your stamina bottles. Of course, if you do need to utilize them and you really want to get up some characters kind of early, stuff like that, then okay, by all means go ahead and do that, knock yourself out with it. It's actually not too bad to use at least maybe like 3. And if you want to use more than that, that's up to you at the end of the day. We're all trying to have some fun, so can't dictate that. But the one thing I will say is, with these stamina bottles, do not grind this artifact set or like any of these artifact sets, because it can set you back, especially if you're doing it a little bit early. On the management side of things, what are the primary things that we should be using our daily stamina, and if we did have to use stamina bottles on, what would we have to use them on? Well, some ways that I actually want to go ahead and say you guys should try to divvy up at least your attention when it does come down to using stamina and P5X. It's going to come down to the basics here, right? We always want to get, of course, our awakening bottles. We want our weapons, we want the talent materials, and then of course we want EXP. You very well can grind up some weapon EXP, by the way, as well, but those are going to be your main 5 functions. So when it does come down to this, there's a few things that you want to try and pay attention first, and that's always going to be at least the character level. Character level is the main thing that you want to try and at least get your base stats up on first to really prioritize when it does come down to utilizing your stamina. And so you're really going to be focusing these character bottles here and these level up materials here. By leveling each character with these type of materials, of course, you get those actual mandatory stats. There's nothing else that can really dictate exactly what you get guaranteed. So if we go ahead and take, for example, any of my characters, right? They're all 80 at the point in time, but when you level them up, you usually get some base stats here. By getting these base stats, these are permanent stats. These are features that cannot be removed from the character once they are broke through and or actually leveled up. By doing so, of course, you get these permanent stats, and it's going to be very, very helpful, because not only does these permanent stats actually help you out in just general basic stat wise, but by leveling up your whole character and getting them awakened, it then can make you break through, of course, your skills, just like other games as well. But these are just going to be really helpful in order to actually just perform in battle. This breakthrough is going to allow you to, of course, then upgrade those skills and help you out even more so in the basic stat function. Of course, if you already have enough of these stamina bottles, the one thing I can say immediately, or at least most of these awakening bottles, the other thing I can say that you really want to try to focus your stamina on is going to be actually focusing the EXP books. Now, I think to get a character up to 80, you need like 150 or 250 of these dudes here. So you don't really have to worry about that just yet, because of course you're going to be new, you're going to be starting out. So you want to grind a little bit of at least stamina, just a little bit of stamina for at least the books here. Nothing too big. Books are not going to be too heavy grinding, especially seeing that majority of the time we can get our books from events. We can get our books from anything that requires like mementos, palisades, because all the palaces in general actually do have like the chest in there and stuff like that you can lockpick, and those do give you a little bit of EXP as well. One of the main things that you also want to go ahead and focus on, seeing that this one's kind of a little bit of a subtle thing to focus on, is going to be your weapon awakening material. These are pretty much just going to be your main two. Of course, all 5 of these guys in general are really important, but the main 2 is really going to be the awakening for your characters and the awakening for your weapons. By of course getting the awakening material for your weapons here, you're going to need to do that a lot, because just like how you get up the character, the weapons also give us base stats, and they also do matter. But the good thing about the weapons is, instead of actually having to level up each and every weapon, you can have a weapon at level 1 and still be like, I want to use it. Boom, you can go ahead and utilize it. Now, this is always something that's really good to see, because level actually transfers depending on whatever you're utilizing, and that is a good thing, especially in this game. It helps you out a lot when it comes down to saving materials, and that can help you out with your stamina. So of course, when it comes down to stamina, being that awakening is really a priority. This is probably the second most prioritized thing that you guys want to utilize your stamina pretty effectively. I'd advise this, if you really wanted to do this in the correct way here, try to at least break up your stamina into 120 a piece here for both at least the stamina bottles and the awakening mats, depending on at least of course where you're at here. Each of these are around 30 here. I think of course you can do yourself maybe 4 runs. I think it's 4 runs of each, and 4 runs of each can actually do you some justice. So of course we do 2 here, and then we do 4 of it, that's going to be 8. Or if we get 2 here, or at least 3 here, do 4 of it, that can be 12. So of course we can do the same with that one, and so on and so forth. You're not only getting a decent bit of EXP, but you are getting those materials pretty quickly, and this allows you to really focus on your teams. At early game, you don't have to really get up everybody. You kind of want to at least rely on one team at first, in which by getting up there, of course, their weapons, you're able to get those basic stats you really are going to be missing out on, utterly helping out at least yourself, not only with the effects of the weapon, but also just helping out those basic stats so your character can live and prosper and do way more damage. But what happens when, of course, like all my characters are pretty decently leveled, or at least I hit a wall, I can't really level up anyone because I'm at that limit breaking mark where I'm walled off. I can't go ahead and use my stamina on weapons because those are also walled off from at least being level, well, not fully leveled up. What do I do then? I'm level 65, but I can't hit level 70. How do I get past this gate? Well, some ways to actually manage a little bit of your stamina is, of course, you want to go ahead and invest into the talent materials a little bit, but that's not going to be the main way. You really need to go ahead and start focusing on persona grinding. I want to say this is the most important thing that a lot of people should be utilizing their stamina on. And the main reasoning that I say this here is, once you have your characters all good, your characters are going to have a decent bit of health. And Wonder kind of is the same way. If you go ahead and build personas, the more you build this persona, the more he will give you different these little items to then be able to use inside of his skill tree. These items are going to look like at least these white light bulbs, as well as some of them are these golden long light bulbs here. And each of these will be utilized to actually upgrade his stats or his actual skill tree. This is going to take a while to, of course, upgrade, but the more personas you have, the more of the skill tree you can get. And depending on how at least you build Wonder himself, it can be very helpful. Now, Wonder, remember, does influence a little bit of everybody, okay? He's always going to be helping out everybody on the team. He's really meant to be a supporter. So the more personas you got, the more actual stats he's able to have on his skill tree. That means the more buffs the rest of your team does get, and the longer not only Wonder will survive, but your team can survive. So utilizing at least your stamina when it does come down to building personas is going to be a huge deal, because you're going to need to, of course, get the personas, which is already annoying. You're going to need to then fuse the personas, which can be a huge headache at times, in which that's going to take a while. It's going to be a while for that. And I feel like once you hit that wall of at least getting up your characters' weapons, you get their actual base stats up, of course, from leveling, then you want to really start focusing on the whole persona aspect. That's going to be really, really important. And somehow sprinkle in a little bit of these three somehow every day. You don't have to sprinkle in a lot of, at least focus on at least the EXP talents and the weapon EXP early on, because remember, we're only building 4 units for our first team. That's all we need at the beginning of the game. So building anything more than that is going to be a little bit extra. So just get them at least enough there where you can actually kind of utilize these. Focus mainly on limit breaking. Once you do hit that wall, go ahead and use the rest of your stamina every day on all of these personas, until of course you've gotten all of these dudes, and then you've hit the amount of personas you can actually use, because there are level caps for the said personas. So like once you build the ones in the level caps, go ahead, refocus, reevaluate what you do need. If you need more of these guys and you want to build more characters for more rewards, go ahead and do so. But I would really just kind of, especially as a free to play, try to build a good team and just focus on getting these materials, because they're going to be really, really valuable, especially once you start to actually limit break a lot more characters. Now for the long time players, you guys, as I said at the beginning of the video, level 60 is where you want to start grinding these dudes. And the reason why you want to start grinding these artifacts is because they're actually able to drop you multiple gold ones. If you can wait the level 70, which is the peak of actually doing things and actually getting really good cards for grinding, I mean, you can do so, but level 60 is the average time here. So surely do wait on this. This is going to be the last thing you need to do. As I was saying, Mementos gives out cards. You can just slap them on. There's no need to really do anything else regarding this. So surely do keep that in mind and have that at the back of your head when it does come down to at least checking out what you're going to use your stamina on. But without further ado, that's everything that I need to go over, especially when it revolves around stamina here. If you guys did enjoy this video, be sure to slap that like button on your forehead and consider subscribing if you are new. We do daily videos of P5X, and we're only going to continue doing more. But till then, everybody, peace out.